All right, I'm not saying anything is going to happen. Hopefully nothing will happen, but I looked into it. It's a verified report. You've got a very important figure stepping down at an unusual time immediately after Donald Trump is sworn in on Inauguration Day, January 20th. And it coincides with a whole creepy trail throughout the election with odd comparisons of Trump to JFK. One of the most memorable was Bill Gates. And, there's been a whole string of fake news attacks and clashes with the media.
Mr. President-elect, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization.
You are attacking our news organization. Can you give us a chance to ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir,
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you state categorically that nobody... No.
Including one in which there was a false report saying that Trump planned to, quote, shake up the CIA and scale back CIA staff at the agency headquarters and force them out of the country.
This is the leader of one of the three arms of government, the executive branch. He is now, before taking office, told two elements of that executive branch, the FBI and the CIA, that he doesn't trust them. This is unbelievable.
MSNBC even had the headline, confronted with intel he didn't like, Trump eyes major CIA changes. But the report was 100% untrue, at least according to Trump's soon-to-be press secretary, Sean Spicer. The administration, his cabinet, his appointees didn't make any kind of statement like that. But on the other hand, it's chilling if you take into account that it was JFK who was once famously talking about splintering the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scattering it into the winds. What many people consider to be a primary trigger to what got JFK killed. And you add that to the false reports about Trump and Putin and the golden showers, which was clearly fake but meant to antagonize him because he questioned the intelligence agencies, because he did not go along with the narrative that Russia supposedly hacked the election to stop Hillary from winning. All this stuff has been piling up. And now, to top all that off, Obama has officially ordered the U.S. Army General, who's in charge of the Washington, D.C. unit of the National Guard, who's an integral part of overseeing the inauguration. He's being ordered to step down his command effectively January 20th, 12:01 p.m., immediately after Trump is sworn in. But no, this is not routine. This is not just the way they change out command post every time. The man who's being fired basically says, he's appointed by the president, he'll step down at the president's command, but he wasn't given a reason why, he wasn't told. And so Major General Errol Schwartz says, quote, the timing is extremely unusual because during the inauguration, Schwartz is in charge not only of the Washington, D.C. National Guard unit, but also of 5,000 other troops sent in from across the country. He's coordinating that, and he was also overseeing military air support, protecting the nation's capital. So for him to step down suddenly as soon as Trump's command starts is a huge vulnerability. It's a red flag. People should be asking questions as to why that's happening, and one of the reasons it's most creepy is because it's almost exactly what happened in Dallas the day that JFK was killed. You had changes in the Secret Service duty, you had military black op commanders. Fletcher Prouty talked about how they were told to stand down. In Washington, you had units standing down. The units standing by in Texas were standing down, and you couple that with all the conflicts of interest and the bizarre nexus points, and it's pretty obvious that a coup took place. And if anything does happen, if anything were to happen, hopefully it won't, because it would be terrible for the stability of this country. It goes against everything that our country is supposed to be about, peaceful transition and duly elected officials and the will of the people. But if anything does happen, this will be one of the biggest red flags, one of the first places to look. And by the way, they're changing out the presidential limo just in time for the inauguration as well. The Beast model that Obama used during his presidency is being retired, and it's being replaced by a new limo, which should be fine, unless, of course, in hindsight, there's anything wrong with that. The point is, he's been antagonizing the establishment. He's been attacking all the figures, senators, former presidents, his rivals, the media figures.
President-elect, a person who has tried to discredit, disparage, and dismantle the existing intelligence community.
But of course, he's part of that same establishment. He's got bankers and neocons in his cabinet. He's been cozying up to these people, but he's also continued to make certain statements.
The CIA has concluded that Russia intervened in the election to help you win the presidency. Your reaction?
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's just another excuse. I don't believe it.
General Michael Hayden used to head the NSA and the CIA.
You know, an awful lot of tweets the president-elect's put out there about the American intelligence community feel a bit like trash talk.
You know, trying to make the CIA and the intelligence community seem irrelevant, pointing out when they're wrong. And if that comes to a head, if it's not just mincing words, it could mean a very direct threat on Trump. And that's the way they're talking. Senator Chuck Schumer made a veiled threat to Trump, telling him that he was, quote, dumb for taking on the intelligence community and for defying the CIA.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday of getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
And he made a direct allusion to the JFK assassination.
From what I am told, they are very upset with how he has treated them and talked about them.
And that is how the real power in this country maintains and regulates the system that we think we have. Everyone seems to be clinging to the illusion that your vote matters and you're choosing your president and your leaders and you can affect policy. Well, there's a whole lot more to it, and the real people making policy are deeply entrenched. Trump may be nudged by his advisors, but if he does buck the system, there's another check and balance put in place by the national security state that's been here since World War II, and JFK has already shown that lesson to the world, and no other president has really significantly dared to buck that system.
What do you think the intelligence community would do if they were motivated?
I don't know.